Welcome to the channel, everyone. Well, working on my Polaris Ranger 6x6 tonight. I've got some bushings for the center axle. I can hear and feel like this clunk going on. And if you guys have followed me on this project, you know that I've replaced that whole rear axle with an independent suspension, and I still have the same clunk. So it has to be this center axle. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take the suspension apart there, and I've got new bushings for it. I believe this is everything, but I'll show you as I take it apart what it is. I had to get two kits, one for each side. Wasn't the cheapest. I think this is over $100, but if this stops that clunk, it'll be well worth it, because it's pretty annoying. It happens over bumps and stuff, and it's a pretty good clunk. I mean, it goes right through the frame and you can feel it. So I guess if this doesn't take care of it, my next idea would be the shock bushings are wore out. But I'm going to probably grease that wheel bearing too. I'll show you that tool that you can grease your wheel bearings on these things. So I got to get to it. I'm wasting time here talking. So I'm going to jack the machine up in the rear there, take off my tires, and start taking the suspension apart. Okay, so I got my tire off. And now I'm going to start disassembling the suspension. Trying not to waste any time, but there's a cap, rubber cap, you just pull that off. There's a cotter pin right here, it's got to come off. Now I see on this side, the nut is actually jammed up against the cotter pin. Yeah, not sure what caused that to do that. Got a 28 millimeter. Seems kind of loose, but it goes on there. There's two washers on there for whatever reason. Then pull the hub off. This one's got anti-seize on it, so I don't know if that's a factory anti-seize or if someone's been in here, but those bearings don't look very good. Probably should have done wheel bearings here, but I'm gonna get my grease tool out and I'll show you how you can grease that. Got 14 millimeter right here. Those kind of feels like that's messed up, but we're gonna leave that on so the thing don't just flop down. That's 16 millimeter. Okay, so now comes the fun part. We've got this control arm is held on. There's 2 bolts on each side, and there's 1 shaft that goes through and it's threaded on each end. You might turn one of these and figure out and see nothing's happening, and you know your other side's spinning. So you do have to hold 16 millimeter. You gotta hold one end and break it loose all the way. And these, they have to be Loctited or something from the factory, because they are in there. Yeah, these are like, I don't know what they are. Like Loctited or something. Oh, I don't know, but they're on there good. I do know that. I have no idea why they're in that hard. To me, there's no reason. Well, there we go. Now I got a problem. That just broke off in there. Well, that bolt snapping off just made this job 10 times harder, because now if you can't hold this side to loosen the other side, yeah, forget about it. Forget about it. It's not gonna happen. It's not gonna happen. So I gotta either get out my cut off wheel and cut something off, or weld something on here. Or, I don't know. I hope it don't happen to you guys, because like I said, just made this job 10 times harder. Okay, so I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull everything I can pull out except for this lower control arm. And yeah, then we'll get that control arm last. Get that last, but see if I can get this hub to come out. You got to get these bushings to come out. These bushings right here have to come out of here. I got this side out, but this side won't. There it goes. So there's the hub. There's the hub right there. The wheel bearings are in there. I'm going to show you how that little grease deal I have works to grease them up. And that's going to get all dirty. Here we got 14 millimeter. And we're all 14 millimeter. Of course, this one's gonna fight. Of course, it's gonna fight. They always want to fight the last bolts. I don't know why that's fighting so bad. This side does not want to come off for some reason. This control arm's easy, it's just long. See them long bolts? This is what they should have done with the lower one. Okay, so that's the upper control arm. There's bushings here. So now somehow we got to get this lower control arm. All I can think of to do that is to and I wonder if them bushings are shot there on the shock. I don't know, maybe not. Make sure you know what size you need before you start doing this kind of stuff, because now I've lost my heat. Now I've lost my heat. Well, you can see I got it out. I welded a nut to this side, and this side wouldn't come out, so I had to heat it up and probably burnt my frame there. Now I gotta probably repaint that. I don't care about the bushings, I got new bushings, but I don't know what engineer thought, hey, let's run a bushing all the way across there and thread the ends. I mean, I don't know what kind of engineer thought that was a good idea, but that's not a good idea. So I gotta let everything cool down before I start grabbing parts, and I'll show you how to do these bushings. Okay guys, we're starting with the lower control arm. These bushings right here are pretty easy. It just comes out just like so. And you're gonna throw away these pieces, but you gotta keep this steel part. So then there's another one on this side. Keep the steel part, and you're going to take the bushings these ones pretty much just come out, grab them, pull them out. There's a whole bunch of, I don't know if that's bushing material or what. These bottom bushings usually will fight pretty good. So there's a washer right there. This is the one I melted all up. But anyway, I take them, stick them in the vise, tighten them down pretty good, and just smack them. Yeah, these ones fight. These ones fight. You can see it's partially out. But it does not want to come out. This one is really fighting. I'll try pulling out this side. Yeah, this is ridiculous. You can see this side is out. I don't know. I gotta keep beating these off camera. Okay, so I finally got these bushings out and got this shaft out of there. Cleaned this shaft up a little bit. The new bushings come with the little washers. Make sure there's a round or a tapered end that goes towards the bushing on the taper of the bushing. Make sure that's right. I've been taking some grease, putting some grease in here. I don't know that you have to do that, but it helps them go in. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah, these are going in harder than the other side. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because I heated that up. So it's got something messed up. Again, I'm putting grease in here. I don't know if you're supposed to put grease in there or not, but I feel like it's probably going to maybe quiet it down or something. I don't know. Maybe it don't make a difference. Oh, this is gonna be fun. That's gonna be fun, that shaft going in there. Looks like she's gonna fight the whole way. Yeah. So she fought. But in the end, I won. Now we get to do these top bushings here again. Just putting some grease in here. Just help everything. And these are the bigger ones. Okay, so these deals go in here. Don't push them in all the way though, because then you can't get your hub on there. So just push them in a little ways, then wait for your to put your hub in there, then push them in. So we'll go to the upper control arm bushing. Okay, so this is the upper control arm bushing, and you're just going to pull out the steel part, and then these bushings will fall out. These ones, same with this side, bushings fall out. Keep the steel piece, get your new ones. Again, I'm going to throw some grease in here. Put your new bushings in there. New bushings in there. A little bit of grease. Slide your steel part in there. And that's pretty much it for this upper control arm. That's it. Now we gotta go to the actual hub. Okay, so here's the hub assembly. It's got the bearings in it. And it's got a bushing up here. Again, you pull a steel piece out, pull the rubber pieces out. That is just full of junk. Throw a little bit of lube in there just because. Throw the bushing in there, throw the bushing in there. Throw a little lube in that. Take the pin, put the pin or the steel part of the bushing back in there. And that's done for that part. I'm going to show you how you can grease these wheel bearings. Okay, so I'm going to grease that wheel bearing, or the wheel bearings in here. And the way you do that is with this tool right here. It's got O-rings and a grease fitting on it. And this is made to go down in here like this. Just like that. And I'm going to get my grease gun up here. And I'm going to put grease in this fitting here. Give it a turn, maybe maybe move this 180 degrees or whatever. Put it back in. Get that bearing nice and greased up. And we'll see. I mean, I think I probably should have probably done new wheel bearings in this. But we'll see how this works out. If my noise goes away and then comes back after a little while, it's probably the bearings. But anyway, put my grease gun on that. Yeah. Pumper full of grease there. I think I'm going to rotate this. Rotate the bearing. Throw some more grease in it. And just my luck, I might be out of grease. Yep, I'm out of grease. I don't know how my luck goes that way, but it's just the way it is right in the middle of the video. I gotta see if I can find some grease or maybe another grease gun. I think I'm just gonna end it. You get the idea, guys. This is filling that. It's filling that full of grease and repacking that bearing. So I'm gonna finish this up off camera. This is pretty slick. This tool here. There's two different sizes. I got the 40 and I think a 44 for the Ranger 900. I need the smaller one. There's another smaller one, 30-some millimeter. That would have worked for the front bearings on this Ranger or the Sportsman's. So yeah, slick little tool if you don't run out of grease. So I'm gonna finish this up. Okay, so I got my bearing all greased up, and you can feel it. You can feel it when it's full of grease. Even when you turn it. So that's full of grease. All my bushings are ready. I actually got my upper control arm in place. Everything's loose. I'm gonna put everything in there. Then once everything's in there, then I'll tighten everything down, all the suspension parts. But I had to do a little touch-up paint because I had to use heat. I welded this side, and I used heat on that side. Funny thing is, those are just 7/16 bolts that go into that lower control arm. I thought all this stuff was metric, but them bolts are not metric. They're 7/16, I believe is what they are. And we have some of them, so I thought I was gonna have to go get one of those, but I thought everything on here was metric, but apparently not. So yeah, it goes back just like goes back together the opposite way it come off, guys. So yeah, I think I'm just gonna put it back together, and then next shot here, it'll all be back together, and then hopefully today I'll take it for a test drive, see if that clunk's gone. And like I said, if it's gone now and then it comes back later, it's probably the wheel bearings because they're packed full of grease right now. But we'll see. I don't know. I'm interested to see what's going on. But this side was a nightmare with the bolt snapping off. Okay guys, so I'm out here running around testing the new bushings, and it's still doing it. So I got new shock bushings on the way. I'm kind of doubting that's going to make that kind of a noise, but I don't know. I'm at a loss as to what's clunking. I mean, everything appears tight. I mean, the differential, you know, seems tight. I really don't know. Yeah. So I did grease the rear wheel bearing with the same tool I greased the center wheel bearing. I don't know. I don't really notice much of a difference. But it seemed like, I was driving it around, it seemed like the clunk wasn't as bad. But as I was just pulling up here, I had a pretty good clunk. Maybe I just didn't hit the right bump. But the bushings, I see the bushings on this rear suspension are pretty bad. I can take that tire and move it back and forth, so I guess I probably got to do that. Them seem worse than the center axle was. But like I said, I had the clunk before I had any of this rear suspension on here. I had that clunk, that bad clunk. I thought it was the rear end. But after putting a whole new suspension and rear end and everything, the clunk's still there. So it has to be something with that center axle. I don't know, I'll keep poking around, and hopefully someday we'll find it. But anyway, guys, I guess that's gonna do it for this one. If I do figure out what the deal is with that clunk, or maybe if someone has had a clunk on their 6x6 that's come from the center axle, let me know. That would be nice. But yeah, I guess I'll see you guys.